The hive mind in Pluribus is a meme. They stand no chance of having any longevity. Most of them will die within 10 years, and I doubt any of them will survive more than a century at most. And this is for one simple reason. They cannot harm any life whatsoever for any reason. This means they cannot acquire food, they cannot hunt, they cannot fish, they can't even forage because apparently picking an apple from a tree is too harmful for them. They have to rely on windfall and stockpiled foods. Eventually the stockpiles will run out, and I severely doubt windfall is enough food to sustain even 1 million people worldwide. And how far does this not being able to harm life thing go? Will they run out of other things? Can they drill for oil? Can they make gasoline? Are processes that harm the environment allowed? I don't think they can even maintain things that are built. The process of spraying to kill moss or pulling weeds are both inherently destructive to life, so they cannot do it. Everything they build or has been built is doomed to eventually be reclaimed by nature because they cannot take any active steps to avoid that. If a building becomes surrounded by blackberry bushes, it's just inaccessible. It's gone forever. They can't cut through the bushes, and let's be honest, you're not walking through a blackberry bush. The patent-pending blackberry shield will stop any and all hive minds from entering your house. It'll also stop you from leaving, but whatever. And you would think that not being able to sustain themselves with a reliable food source would already be a big enough debuff for a hive mind, but it gets worse. They also have the upside down problem that all pain and suffering from one member is cascaded across the entire hive mind. They confirm in one of the episodes that if a member of the hive mind is feeling good, everyone else feels good. So logically, if one of them, say, stubs their toe, all of them will stub their toe at the same time. And it doesn't stop at physical pain. You can rage bait them to death. You know how people like to joke that the way to beat Pennywise is to bully him, but that's not really true because there's some other things going on in the background? In this case, that is true. If you say things that are mean enough or negative enough to a member of the hive mind, it will cause every member of the hive mind to have a seizure because of, feedback from all the negative emotions. Carol in the second episode crashes out towards one member of the hive mind, and that causes millions of deaths. She repeatedly throughout the series has to stop herself from being negative or too angry towards the hive mind because she realizes it will cause issues. Minusos was able to have the entire hive mind have a seizure after being left alone with one for 1 minute. The average Dead by Daylight lobby would probably kill billions of members of the hive mind. If they ever have to face any kind of pushback, like different aliens invading from the ones who sent the signal, or someone they're trying to force to join them being just really angry at them, it will have dramatic negative effects. Between the food and the fact you can rage bait them to death, I think the question has to be asked, so how do you survive Pluribus? Which is kind of a funny question to ask, given that the people that aren't infected seem to live pretty good lives, all things considered. The hive mind will bend over backwards to make you happy. The one thing they won't compromise on is they really want you to join them. So if they have the opportunity, they will make you part of them. Thankfully, they can't do that without your stem cells, at least as of the last we know in the series. And to get your stem cells, they have to get a bunch of stuff from your leg. And they can't do that without your consent. So just say no. But to be honest, just saying no won't cut it, I don't think. Because they are dead set on you joining them, they are probably going to keep researching ways to make a tailored virus just for you. Which means that as the series goes on, they're probably going to come up with new and interesting ways to try to get people to join. They are made up of all of the world's experts after all. It'd be crazy if they just stopped there. Considering the fact that they will do anything I ask them, and they have the world's resources, the first step is I'm just going to ask them to build me a bunker. Just build me a bunker with 15 years worth of supplies, and enough books, movies, and other media that by the time I get out, I will know exactly how to survive the new outside world. My somewhat cowardly plan is just to try to outlast them. Most of them are going to die out in 10 years from starvation, and those that are left are going to be severely inhibited in what they can do. The hive mind is essentially at its strongest right after the joining, when they have all the resources from the previous world. As time goes on and those resources are used up, degraded, or become inaccessible, the hive mind becomes less and less able to do stuff. So the plan is to wait them out. Hopefully during this time I can convince some of the other survivors to go inside with me. We're going to need some extra bodies if the human race is going to survive this. Then once the bunker's done and we got all the people inside, I do the patent-pending blackberry wall. I just plant blackberries all over the entrance of the bunker, as far as I can get, and then I go in and lock it. They will grow, they will create a huge tangle of awfulness that's just impossible to get by. They might drill underneath it, which is a possibility, but any overtly hostile action taken by the hivemind towards us is easily countered through extreme application of violence and just yelling really mean words their way. It's unfortunate that the best way to survive this seems to be just waiting for them all to starve to death, but to be honest, this seems like the best thing for everyone. You get to survive and continue on the human race, and they get to build their giant antenna in Africa to send off the signal unimpeded. Everyone gets to do what they want to do, and then live out their lives to whatever extent they're allowed to. But that's only plan A. Plan B is to become best bros of Manusos and save the world together. To be honest, I'm letting him take the lead on that one. He seems way smarter and more capable than I am, and more driven, and more handsome. I love him. Besides surviving, I've put some thought into what I think the Pluribus mind virus is or whatever. I think it's just a disease. I think it's just the ideal disease for technological civilizations. Because all it needs to do is infect a civilization, then they send out the signal to other civilizations. Thus the disease spreads. It's a lot like rabies if you think about it. A rabies-infected creature will be averse to water, have higher aggression and paranoia, along with a bunch of other fun things. TLDR, the rabies virus spreads through biting, thus it creates the perfect conditions to make the host want to bite someone. The joining virus wants to spread, as all diseases do, so it creates the perfect scenario for it to spread. It changes the brain chemistry of the people it infects to not only make them part of a hive mind, but makes it so everyone in the hive mind has a biological need to spread. So of course it will spread across an entire planet, and as more and more people get infected, the hive mind's abilities grow and grow, making it more and more capable of infecting more people. Once an entire planet is infected, they then have to figure out a way to infect more people. The obvious solution is to send out a signal with the virus to other civilizations, thus opening new vectors for spreading the virus. In addition, I think the fact that they can't harm any sentient life is a feature, not a bug. The hive mind will naturally realize it can't sustain itself. Thus, it will come to the conclusion that the most meaningful thing it can do with its remaining time is further spread the virus and create more hive minds. It's essentially a disease tailor-made for advanced civilizations. In a way, it seems like the logical endpoint for a sci-fi parasite. Parasites tend to evolve to have less and less organs, because if you're borrowing something from your host already, like hanging out in their stomach and eating their food, why do you need your own digestive system? Just eat what they've already digested for you. So the logical endpoint for a parasite, if you're removing all the redundant stuff, is just to be an RNA sequence that forces its host to willingly recreate it and spread it among the stars. It probably didn't evolve to get that way, because that would be insane. Probably some alien civilization created it, and then they all got infected, and then it got spread over and over and over again, rinse and repeat. I would be really shocked if the people that send the signal to Earth were the first. Well, that's about it for the video. In case you haven't noticed, this one is a bit padded, but that's just because I have a very crazy January ahead of me, and I wanted to get something out that was kind of good, rather than have nothing come out for a whole month like I've had a bad habit of doing. Let me know what you think of that in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you around.